y'all, it's me, your girl, and today before we even begin, I want to make something very, very clear. What we're about to get into is deeper than celebrity gossip. It's deeper than current events, really. We're talking about a bigger picture. This is a dissection. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about a young girl, a child who deserves protection, not exploitation. She deserves justice and for her story to be heard. And though her voice was silenced and overlooked, I'm here to make it heard.
Ayo Egyptian, tell them for guan, eviction. This one, yeah, it's had a bad gal edition. See them gal there, contradiction. Them say them sitting tight, a bare fiction.
Welcome to Poli-Talkin with Uptop. This is episode 1, and I'm so happy to be here. Let's get into it. Recently, David / D4VD, his situation with Celeste and him being on tour and all of these other things have hit the media. And it's a lot. Today, I've compiled heaps and heaps and heaps of evidence into one video in one place where we can talk about it, get the facts straight, and make Celeste's voice be heard. I really need us to sit with the weight of what happened here. What's really happening here? With every article that's made, with every video that's posted, too often and too much, Celeste is being referred to as a young lady, a young woman, and that's not the case. She was a young girl. She was a child. Words matter. When we use the right language, it changes the way we see things. Calling her a young lady makes it sound like she was old enough to understand what was happening to her and old enough to understand some of the choices that she was making at the hands of grooming and neglect. Before people start twisting the narrative, we need to lay it all out. Celeste joined Discord when she was 10 years old. By the time she was 11, she was in a relationship with 17-year-old David. There are receipts from Discord. Adult fans, adult team members, grown people were sitting in there watching this situation play out. And nobody questioned this baby-faced girl with milk on her face still on his lives. That's not just negligence, that's complicity. There's already been a raid on David's home before Celeste's body was unfortunately found in his car. That means police knew. That means someone tried to help her, because they wouldn't have been able to raid the home had they not had any ideas or tips on where she ran away to. Someone tried to help her. A grown man shouldn't be having matching tattoos with a child. A grown man shouldn't be buying engagement rings or any type of jewelry for a child. A grown man shouldn't be having plans on impregnating a child. And paramount to that, adults should not be supporting a grown man sharing his intentions on getting a child pregnant. In the hidden communities, in the communities that, you know, the greater world doesn't have so much insight on, like the music industry, things get very dark. This girl was in many places and spaces with this man. She was backstage with him at many concerts. She was traveling with him, you know, on tours. Was with him in situations, in a situation that she should have never even been in. This man was sending thousands of dollars to her phone at one time. A 13-year-old. In what world is that okay? And as a parent, why are you comfortable with your child coming home with stuff that you know doesn't belong to her? You should have been investigating from there. And let's set the record straight, because too often when a man with money, power, influence, whatever he has that the public highly regards, when he crosses the line, especially in this way, it's often overlooked and the narrative is distorted. It's rearranged as to make the child look or seem older, more mature, and somehow responsible for what happened to her. Celeste was not responsible for her demise. And I feel like fingers are being pointed at the wrong people in the wrong places. There were people in the Discord chat that knew David was messing with a missing girl. We need to be pointing fingers at David, at his team, at his managers, at the Discord adults, but most importantly at the system that failed her. Her mom knew that she had a boyfriend named David, and her mom told the police that the last time she was seen was when she was going off to the movies with David. This isn't to victim blame. This isn't to pass judgment on her parents or her family. I share my deepest condolences with the family and loved ones of Celeste, because this should have never happened. This is so unfathomable and so hard to wrap my mind around, especially as a mother to a little girl. I can't. I can't imagine what they're going through at this time. But parents, we need to ask questions. We need to be in our children's business. If your 13-year-old child comes home saying that they're in a relationship, ask questions. Oh, their name is David. What's his last name? Where is he from? How old is he? How did you meet him? We need to ask questions. Now, people online been having a couple theories that they're throwing around. We can address a few. Some say that Celeste may have been dead this whole time, and he replaced her with a secondary adult version that looks like her, was wearing her clothes, and happens to also be named Celeste. I personally don't believe this one. It just doesn't line up to me. But the whole thing about this case is that it's so obvious, right? Everything is just so in your face. The fact that the car was found abandoned a mile away from his home, that he all of a sudden moved out of, and he started renting to his manager. And then, you know, neighbors reported seeing the car moving around. It just seems very calculated. As we could tell by his music, a lot of his lyrics just sound like he's been fantasizing about, you know, getting rid of this girl for some time. Others believe that she's alive but hidden. That's stupid. Some people believe that David didn't do it, which is equally stupid. The theory that I lean more towards is that Celeste was alive up until her 15th birthday in a trunk, wrapped up in trash bags. In the peak of LA summer, it will not take a very long time for a body to start decomposing and, you know, smelling. I feel like between the time that she died to the time that her body was discovered in that trunk, there couldn't have been more than a couple of days, say 4 to 5 days. I believe that had recently happened right before or on her birthday, because look at it this way. She was growing, she was changing, she was getting older, and he was no longer a child that he can mold into the perfect woman. She was no longer a thing that he can control, because that's exactly what he saw her as, a possession, his. Get this straight, she was a young girl, not a young lady, not mature for her age. She was a child, and a child doesn't know how to be a woman to an adult man. That responsibility should never have been placed on her shoulders. And when you look at it that way, it hits harder, because this wasn't just a random event. It was preventable, and a young girl's life didn't have to play out this way. And the truth is that if more adults had stepped in when they should have, when they had the time, she might still be here. If adults on David's team had asked questions, if the adults in the Discord had asked questions, if that one person who commented, and I don't know if they were trolling or what, but if that person who commented and said, drop this song about missing girl Celeste Rivas Hernandez, her full government name, if he had went to the police, the authorities, with the information that he had from, because a lot of the evidence comes from within this Discord. She had a tattoo of David's name on her ring finger with a diamond engagement ring on there. Yeah, we need to open our eyes, and we shouldn't water this down as gossip. We shouldn't minimize it as celebrity news. This is a tragedy, and it shows us how dangerous it is when we prioritize protecting the image of powerful men instead of protecting children. This is deeper than gossip. This is a dissection. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching the video. Join me tonight after this video goes live. What's today? Sunday, September 21st. Tonight, when this video goes live on TikTok, my name and my information will be on the screen. Follow me to see when I go live after this video is posted. Join me. Be a part of the discussion. Tell us your theories, what you think. Come up on the panel. And let's talk about it. Thank you for joining me on episode 1 of Poli-Talkin with Uptop, and I hope to see y'all back on the next episode. Spark a conversation. That's all we're here for, really. Spark a conversation amongst my peers, and, you know, get the youth involved in the direction that, you know, our country is going in. Get my peers involved in political conversation, because we deserve to. It's a space we deserve to be in, and it's a topic we deserve to be educated about, so that we can form well-rounded opinions about the political climate of, you know, where we live and how we live. So yeah, tell me what you would like to talk about next, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Ayo, Egyptian, tell them for guan, eviction. This one, yeah, it's had a bad gal edition. See them gal there, contradiction. Them say them sitting tight, I bear fiction.